Night number one of the draft is in the books, and I was not impressed with what the Lions did. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Dery with you. It is the Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on a Thursday, April 27th, and a Friday, April 28th. Good morning to some of you, or most of you, watching this podcast or listening to us on Thursday night into Friday morning. Night number one of the draft is complete. The Lions have made two selections. This was an interesting evening, to say the least. We'll get into both picks. Jahmyr Gibbs with the Lions trading back to get to number 12, the running back from Alabama, and Jack Campbell, the linebacker from Iowa, at 18. Lions now have an extra second-round pick in here. They'll be drafting 34, 48, and 55 tomorrow. We'll go over some players that the Lions might be able to get tomorrow and have a better day, at least in my opinion, than they had here on night number one, on year number 3 of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Again, thanks for making this your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. It is Locked On Lions. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions as well, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page. And thanks for checking us out for free. Please subscribe on the Locked On Lions YouTube channel, the everydayers that check us out each and every day. Thank you for checking us out here on Locked On Lions. The show tonight is brought to you by our friends at Ultimate Football GM. Ever dreamed of becoming an NFL GM and managing your football franchise? And this game is definitely for you. To download it, just visit ultimate-gm.com or look it up on the app stores. Our listeners get a 100% free boost to your franchise when you use the promo code LOCKEDON in all caps in the game. All right, you guys have been with me since 2016. Many of you have been listening to the podcast or watching us. By the way, shout out, first of all, to a questionable tease for yes. Let me stand up here. You see it. It's the 222 Rodwood Drive t-shirt. Thank you to Scotty and the folks at Questionable Tees, TEEZ.com for the shirt. We love it. Thank you. Also, got to give a shout out to my man Dave Klonke at M&B Graphics in Lake Orion for the new backdrop. What do you think? New look to the Locked On Lions podcast with our backdrop with the logo behind me. All right, let's get into it. I don't like what I saw tonight. I don't. Now, does this mean the draft's going to be an F the rest of the weekend? Does this mean Brad Holmes needs to be fired? Of course not. But what the Lions did tonight did not impress me at all. I felt like I was watching the draft from the mid-'80s. Got to get that running back. Got to get that middle linebacker in the first round. Let's set the stage. It got to number 6, and Will Anderson was off the board, which was disappointing. Then Devin Witherspoon goes number 5 to Seattle. I was stunned. So I'm thinking, all right, the Lions are going to take Tyree Wilson at 6, and I would have had no issue with that. But it sounds like, even though Matt Miller of ESPN said the Lions were enamored with him, it sounds like the Lions were concerned with Tyree Wilson's foot injury because they didn't take him. And they did not draft Jalen Carter. And I've been saying it to you for weeks on this show. The Lions weren't going anywhere near Jalen Carter. They just weren't. They had their chance. So the Lions elect to trade back with Houston. The Texans move up to 6. The Lions move back to 12. And the Lions also get number 34. So the third pick in the second round tomorrow. So, some guys start coming off the board. Wilson comes off the board. Levis is still on the board. I'm trying to remember who else was taken ahead of the Jalen Carter. The Eagles trade with the Bears to get up to 9 to get Jalen Carter. You had some offensive linemen that were taken. Skoronski at number 11 was taken by Tennessee. So here are the Lions at number 12. And I'm thinking, all right, they're going to get the cornerback that they wanted in Christian Gonzalez, or they're going to take Nolan Smith, or they're going to take Kalijah Cansey. They're going to get somebody on the offensive line or defensive line, or the corner that they maybe are looking for. They're not going to get Witherspoon, but they could still get Gonzalez. And at number 12, the Lions draft a running back, Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. Now, the guy runs a 4.3 40. The guy's the first Alabama offensive player to lead the team in rushing and receiving in the same season since the 80s. My buddy Al with that stat, our crack research staff. But at number 12, to get a guy that you could have had at 18, in my opinion, again, that's my opinion, that's a reach. Jahmyr Gibbs is an explosive player. But in 2023, how much is he going to be on the field? What are the Lions going to do with DeAndre Swift? What about just the new acquisition of David Montgomery, who's making $6 million a year? You brought Craig Reynolds back too. Come on, Craig. So while I like the player, don't get me wrong, Jahmyr Gibbs is an explosive, speedy, war number 1 in Alabama last year. He's an athlete. He can catch the football out of the backfield. He can do a lot of things. Brad Holmes breaking tables again, hugging and high-fiving and swinging and missing on the high five with 2-2-2. I mean, it was like pandemonium again. In the third year in a row, Brad smashing the table. But a running back at 12? Bijan Robinson went number 8 to Atlanta. So I thought you're not going to see another running back till the 20s. Heck, Jahmyr Gibbs told the Detroit media tonight he was stunned that he went number 12 overall. It's a luxury pick. The Lions defense improved last year, but has more work to do. I talked yesterday about building from within, building up front. Look what the Eagles are doing. They just keep adding O linemen and D linemen. Tonight they got Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. They got the whole Georgia defense from 2 years ago. And the Lions, while they won 9 games this past year and had a really good year, they didn't win 13 games. When you win 13 games, you could take some luxury picks. A running back at 12? So if they want to trade DeAndre Swift, now you're going to get about 20 cents on the dollar. I didn't understand it. I didn't. I would have taken Cansey there. I would have taken Nolan Smith. I would have taken Brissy. Any of them. What do I know? Jahmyr Gibbs is a good football player. Don't get me wrong. He's explosive. He's also a little bit injury prone, which is the same knock that you had on DeAndre Swift. So that was the first pick. Let's get to Jack Campbell, and then we're also going to talk about some players available for tomorrow. Matt Dery with you, draft night edition of Locked On Lions. And we're brought to you by, as I said before, Ultimate Football GM. We played this game last year with the whole Locked On crew, and it was so much fun. It's a mobile game that you could play. You build your own team. It was awesome. All right? Ever dreamed of becoming an NFL GM? Managing your football franchise? You can do it at Ultimate Football GM. You're responsible for controlling the destiny of your franchise by hiring coaches and coordinators, trading players, navigating your franchise through free agency, and the draft and all the ups and downs of a season. All right? It's a lot of fun, and it's cool, and all of it's in a realistic game world. Ultimate Football GM is completely free and playable offline. Play on the go as you want, when you want to. Locked On Lions listeners, listen up. You're going to get a 100% free boost to your franchise when you use the promo Locked On in all caps in the game store. That's Locked On in all caps. So make sure you check it out today. Download the game. Go to ultimate-gm.com or look it up in the app stores. Ultimate Football GM. Start your dynasty today. All right, shout out to the everydayers and everybody that checks us out each and every day right here on Locked On Lions. Matt Dery with you, draft night edition. 1 night down, 2 days to go. 3 picks in the second round tomorrow to get. They've got, they had 5 in the top 55 after that trade down with the Texans, or trade back from Houston with the Texans. Um, so here we go. So the Lions, um, bizarro world, but the Lions took Jack Campbell at number 18, a middle linebacker, an inside linebacker that is gritty, tough. And Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell, they all interviewed Campbell, and I guess they left the room, Kelvin Shepard, and they all said, oh my gosh, this is such a Lions guy. So he's a culture fit. He's a fantastic leader. But where's he going to, how is this going to, um, I look at this situation and I say, Jack Campbell's a good football player. But at 18, I saw many. There were mock drafts we were doing over the last few weeks from the Draft Network and others that had Jack Campbell available at 48. Pro Football Focus had Jahmyr Gibbs ranked 34th and Jack Campbell ranked 39th. And the Lions are taking these guys at 12 and 18. I don't get it. Jack Campbell's a good player, but he's an inside linebacker that can't play on every down. Don't you already have Rodrigo, the cult hero? What about Alex Anzalone, Gaines Media poster boy? He just got a 3-year deal. Thought Derek Barnes was in their future. He's working with Chris Spielman every day. A linebacker at 18. So let me get this straight. On third downs and long, your number 18 pick isn't going to be on the field. Maybe third downs, period. Right? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's going to be out there. Mosey's going to be out there. Sutton's going to be out there. Walker's going to be out there. Joseph's going to be out there. That's 5. You're going to have your 4-down lineman. You're going to have an extra cornerback if they're going for, 4 wide receivers. Jerry Jacobs could be out there. Will Harris. When's Jack Campbell going to be on the field? I'm not saying this spells the end of Malcolm Rodriguez. I think the pick of Gibbs spells the end of Swift. But Malcolm Rodriguez went from cult hero and rock star and had his own questionable tees Rodrigo t-shirt. I've got one backstage here. Now, you got a lot of linebackers, and they're all now. Are they all Pro Bowlers? No. But Jack Campbell, they love. And it's kind of funny. Jack Campbell won the Campbell Award for Best Inside Linebacker, and he's going to be playing for Dan Campbell. But it sounds like he just wowed the Lions in his interviews, and they love his grit and, all of that. But again, when there are, to me, better players on the board and players at positions of need, and I know that's not Brad Holmes' MO. He's going to take the best guys that he thinks are there. But to me, when Jackson Smith and Jigba is sitting there at 18 and you've got Jamison Williams on gambling suspension and Quintez Cephas shipped out of town, I would have loved JSN right there. Now, you're going to say, well, Matt, wait a minute. You've been preaching defense the whole time. You're going to take a running back and a wide receiver first? But I'm just saying, if we're not, you had to take a defensive player, I guess, at 18. Okay? But Kalijah Kancey is my man crush. I loved him. And he went a pick later to Tampa at 19. That's where I would have gone. So I just, I'm a little perplexed, to say the least. Jack Campbell's fine, but again, this is shades of, hey, we're the big bad Lions and we won 13 games last year. We're just going to take some guys that we love. Well, what about really good players that can help you right now? When you start, is Jahmyr Gibbs going to be on the field enough right now at the start of the year? Jack Campbell better be playing. But again, you just re-upped Alex Anzalone. You're going to have Anzalone and Campbell together. Then what does that do for Rodriguez? What about Barnes? So I'm a little confused. I'm very confused at kind of the approach here. I saw Jack Campbell maybe coming at 48 or 55. I saw Gibbs maybe at 18, maybe at 34. But not at not at 18. Again, I watch a ton of Big Ten football. You have to when you live around here. And I watched Iowa enough, and their defense is what carries them. Iowa's offense is one of the worst college offenses I've ever seen. No question about it. But it's not like I remember walking away going, "Oh man, Jack Campbell is just so good. He's good. Don't get me wrong." But I think for value, I don't understand 12 and 18. So that was surprising to me, to say the least. When it came to that pick. So, by the way, the Lions traded with the Cardinals. So for those of you screaming and hollering that they were trading with the Texans, no. Arizona took Paris Johnson from Ohio State and moved up. The Lions took the Cardinals pick at 12 and then at 34. My apologies. It wasn't Houston. Houston moved up to get Will Anderson. It was Arizona. The Lions made a trade with the juggernaut Cardinals. So I don't know. You know what? You want me to give a letter grade? Let's just see how the rest of the look. Tomorrow, if they take some guys I'm about to mention, I'll feel better about it. I just don't love day one. That's all. Day one felt like day two. If you would have told me, hey, on Saturday or on Friday night, you're going to get Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell at 48 and 55, I would have gone nuts. So that's it. That's my thoughts on it. I want to give you some names of some players to watch for tomorrow. We'll do that next. First, though, if you're looking for a delicious treat, don't want all the fat and calories, and you got to try Built Bar. Built is the best. I've had every protein bar out there. Built Bars are great. They're healthy for you. They're very tasty, and they're all covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. They come in great flavors too, like cookies and cream, my personal favorite, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond, churro, and get those Built Puffs, the marshmallow puffs. Those are fantastic as well. Only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. Go to Built.com right now, put in Locked15, and you'll get 15% off your first order. Also, head to Walmart today. They've got them there. Go to Sam's Club. They've got them there as well. Folks, Built Bar is the best. Built.com. By the way, I've got to give a shout out, and I've got to find this tweet, and I apologize if I'm wasting people's time right now, but I totally did not prepare for this. Well, I did and I didn't. I know the guy sent me a tweet, and he said his dad is going to be listening to the podcast. They're driving down to Kansas City to go to the draft tomorrow, and I've got to give him a shout out. Oh my goodness, where is it? Okay, I'm going to find it. I swear I'm going to find it. My goodness, where is it? Oh, here we go. Hold on. My guy Dylan Anderson tweeted to me at Dery Speaks and said, you got to give a shout out to his dad, Eric Anderson. He'll freak out. So Eric, drive safely, have fun in Kansas City. Tell them go light on the sauce if you're going to go to any of these barbecue places like Joe's or Smoking Guns or Arthur Bryant's. I, for one, think that Memphis barbecue is better than Kansas City. I think they slap on the sauce too much in KC. So shout out to the Andersons, Eric Anderson. Eric Anderson. I used to work with a guy in Syracuse, Eric Anderson. All right, tomorrow, Lions will be picking third in the second round. They'll be betting third, also 48 and 55. So 34, 48, and 55 in the second round. And they've got, a couple of third rounders too, they've got 1 third round pick. So they'll be busy tomorrow. Here's who I want. You ready? I'll take Joey Porter Jr. right here, right now. Now, the Steelers have the first pick in the second round because of the Claypool trade. Nice move, Bears. And the Steelers taking Joey Porter would just be, wouldn't it be a chef's kiss? I mean, his dad played for the Steelers. But if the Steelers pass on him, I'll take him for the Lions. I'd love Joey Porter Jr. At 34. I think that'd be a steal at cornerback. Keon White, the defensive end from Georgia Tech, he's available. He was in the green room tonight, didn't hear his name called. No, I'm not going to do a 1-minute rant about the Lions drafting Will Levis. That's not happening. That poor kid. Although all the women that were around him, wow. Osiris Torrance, the big guard from Florida. What about our guy Steve Avila from TCU? Let's get Steve Avila at 48. Let's go. If tomorrow in the second round, it's Porter Jr., Avila, and Keanu Benton, sign me up. That would be a home run second round for Brad Holmes and company. DJ Turner is still on the board. Jalen Hyatt, the receiver from Tennessee, still there. Lions need another receiver. Julius Brents is a really good cornerback from Kansas State. I like him. Michael Mayer is on the board still. Although, would the Lions go tight end at 34? That would just be funny. Brian Branch, the safety from Alabama. I know the Lions are chock full of safeties, but he's really good. Cam Smith, the cornerback, is out there. So those are some names to watch for tomorrow. But Torrance or Avila would be great tomorrow. Joey Porter Jr. at 34 would be awesome tomorrow. I'm throwing it out there. Those are some names to watch. Keep an eye out. We'll be with you again tomorrow for another edition of Locked On Lions. Our draft coverage, by the way, is brought to you by Ultimate Football GM. Thanks for being an everydayer and checking us out each and every day. Your team every day, the Detroit Lions, threw some curveballs at us tonight. Hopefully tomorrow is better. We'll talk to you tomorrow.